Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about why fearful avoidant attachment style individuals are blocking people when they are leaving a relationship or when they're in a romantic relationship with somebody else. So we're going to talk about why this happens, what some of the key reasons are, and a little bit about what you can do about it if you're on the receiving end. So first and foremost, the main reason that this happens is because a fearful avoidant gets caught between sort of like their anxious side and their avoidant side. It's like they know themselves enough to know that they're going to want to reach out and connect, and yet they're trying to push away and make sure they keep themselves shut off. So to be honest, or to be fair here, there's actually a couple different trajectories for why this can occur. This is sort of the first major reason here. And what this really looks like in terms of a breakdown is like a fearful avoidant being upset, being hurt, knowing that the relationship isn't working for them in some form, being angry, being triggered. And in any of these different forms, a fearful avoidant usually knows themselves well enough to know that they still can really care. And when they're feeling feelings for somebody else and they've got that care, that consideration, they can get into this position where it's like, okay, I know I need to pull away and I'm hurt. I need to protect myself from this person, but I don't trust myself not to want to reach out again. And so what they do is, because they don't trust themselves not to want to reach out, they create that sort of superficial barrier by being, using the phone. It's like the blocking becomes the superficial barrier. And what that does, it sort of quells their anxious side and then allows them to sort of feed more into the avoidance side, because fearful avoidants often, when they swing avoidant, they usually swing anxious almost to the same degree soon after, within a period of time later. So if you see somebody pulling back, let's say, for example, -5 out of 10, you may see them eventually swing back sort of like +5 out of 10. And it's because like our mind sort of has this homeostatic impulse. It wants balance, it wants equilibrium. So one reason this happens is they're hurt, they're upset, they're trying to pull away, but they still have too much emotion and too many feelings there to pull away completely. So literally what they do instead is they create that superficial barrier as a means to quell their anxious side while they can sort of feed into their avoidance side. Now, number two, the second reason that this can happen is a fearful avoidance trying to make a point. Sometimes they feel unheard, unseen, taken for granted, taken advantage of in some way. And they have all this pain and they feel like this pain isn't being seen and understood, or their needs aren't being heard. So they pull away and shut down so the person can sort of feel or experience through action what's taking place here. And this is their way of saying, like, you've hurt me and I'm going to sort of hurt you back. And it's interesting because there's sort of this spiteful element that can take place there. But when we really dig into spitefulness itself, spitefulness is often a subconscious strategy for emotional connection. It's like, even when you hear the expression, give you a taste of your own medicine, what it really is it's like somebody wants you to feel how they feel so you can understand their feelings. And if you want somebody to understand your feelings and feel what you're feeling, there's this sort of emotional connection need that gets met through that. And this can be another reason that this takes place. So they're pushing away to create a point, to sort of speak through their actions instead of their words. And again, it's usually because they're feeling something first, that they're upset, they're having a hard time emotionally regulating. And so they're like, okay, let me sort of speak it this way. And the third point I really want to make here and be super clear about is when a fearful avoidant attachment style individual is in a place where they feel the need to block anybody. I always say to people, it's like when we're indifferent, that's when we're in a position where we're really healing, we're really over somebody. If we still have such a strong emotional charge that we need an outside source or force to help us deal with our emotions and regulate, obviously there's still a lot of emotional charge there, which usually indicates care of some form. The carefreeness would be, I'm fully over and healed from this person or relationship. So when we look outside of a relationship, like post relationship, if there's been a breakup and you're wondering why the fearful avoidant blocks post breakup, sometimes it can be because there's just still a lot of emotion there and they don't trust themselves fully enough to be able to just take a break from communication. And so they use, again, that sort of superficial barrier in that form. And then another reason outside of a breakup can be just tremendous hurt. And sometimes when a fearful avoidant feels really hurt or their trust has been really broken, they can get to the point of like almost no return shutdown, where a fearful avoidant can almost go so avoidant when there's a lot of that emotional charge and hurt that they can sort of become cold. And this is usually when there's like literally no like emotional connection left in the relationship almost whatsoever, because it's been broken down so badly, it's been shattered. Now, to be super clear, this is actually usually when a fearful avoidant isn't often as likely to block somebody when they reach that point, because they almost feel the need, they don't even feel the need to. It's like they're just so shut down, so over it, they don't even feel like it's necessary, because they can just go cold and not even worry about answering and not think about it. So these are sort of some of the different dynamics that you'll see here. Now, what we want out of this situation, if we're on the receiving end, is to, number one, not take it personally, right? To understand that this is this individual's way of dealing with a situation, and this way that this individual is emotionally regulating, right? Obviously, they're in pain, they're hurt, they're going through something here. And this is their way of like putting up that barrier for self-protection in some form. And number two, if you find that this may be spite, right? And it's coming from a place of spitefulness, it's usually indicative that their feelings are not understood. Their needs are not being met, and they don't have a better way of expressing it. And so if you're still in the relationship, you want to realize, okay, number one, they're hurt. Number two, there's some unmet needs here, and you want to try to open up healthy dialogue and conversation. Now, ultimately, it's the fearful avoidance individual process, right? It's like the fearful avoidance work to be able to do that. And it's a huge blessing to acquire that skill as a fearful avoidant, because it takes all of that emotional dysregulation and pain and actually converts it into something useful, where you can actually take this pain that you're experiencing and go, here's what I'm needing, here's what I'm feeling. And expressing it in words is actually what creates a large part of regulation and relief. But if you're on the recipient end of this and you're the partner, I think it's important to make sure you don't take it personally. You open a dialogue for healthy conversation. And ideally, going forward too, it's important to set a boundary around it, where you say, listen, I understand that you're hurt, but that's not an appropriate way of dealing with this. What I need for you is to come to words. I need you to talk. I need you to express your needs ahead of time, and you to communicate with me. And that's really ultimately how one or both of you are going to make it through the situation together, if you're in a unit or if you're the fearful avoidant yourself listening to this. And if you want to do a much deeper dive into like deep emotional regulation work, so you can actually feel like you can get through problems in relationships, like you can work through stuff and it's not sitting so heavy on your heart, and you can literally get your needs met and seen and heard and understood, I highly recommend checking out our Fearful Avoidant Attachment Style Reprogramming course. You can check it out for free for 7 days. We only do 7-day free trials now on our YouTube channel for you guys in here who are part of our community. And it's a great opportunity to literally go through and break down some of these pieces, so you just don't have to sit in that emotional dysregulation any longer, where you feel like, should I stay? Should I go? I feel like I need to push away. I need to pull somebody closer. And it just sort of gets you out of that frame of mind through healthy, positive solutions for this stuff, so you can get that relief and get that thriving connection in your relationships again. So anyways, if you want to check it out, please take advantage of it. There's the link in the description box below. And that's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.